Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. Fun fact, because of my American accent, sometimes it sounds like I'm saying entitled, like we're entitled film nerds. My name is Philip, and joining me always is TJ.
Hello.
We continue on with our fourth annual 31 Days of Horror, where we watch a different horror movie every single night in October. Today, we're on day 2, and our movie for tonight was The Bye-Bye Man. So, what'd you think?
I think that we could have said goodbye to this one.
Let me see. I'm going through my notes. We are revisiting this review because, like, night 1, we had some stuff come up and we couldn't do a review directly after, so it's about 5 nights later, and we have 5 more nights of movies in our head.
This is the one where the
I liked
the best thing about it was Doug Jones.
Because Doug Jones is awesome.
Yes,
he is a phenomenal character.
Always a win with
always
Doug Jones.
Yeah, I remember writing that in my review.
But
I dug the characters. I didn't like them. I remember I didn't like the main actress.
Yes,
I thought she was boring, and her line delivery was really flat.
And she had no character. She was just
she didn't project,
girlfriend.
And she didn't project at all. I did like the relationship between the two best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I've said before, I said it in my review, my written review, that I hate the way like male characters are written most of the time because it's that macho bro shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this was here. I mean, there was a lot of bro stuff here. But at the same time, I could buy them as like having been best friends since childhood.
Yeah, it seemed more not forced.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they did a good job of just seeming just close.
Like they grew up.
Yeah. I did mention, and I think this is a female director. I had her name written down.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be that could be the female influence from the directing chair, which is almost always awesome.
Mm-hmm.
From, I think Honeymoon was a female director. Babadook was a female director.
Punisher Warzone was a female director.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yes.
That's very awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I referenced in my notes and in my written review the seance scene.
Yes.
And in that scene, we had the girlfriend, the spooky, what's wrong?
Psychic hippie chick.
Yeah, thank you, yes. And then we had the two best friends, whose names completely escape me right now. And usually in these kind of movies, and I know this is a small minor thing to notice, but I know so usually it's like guy, girl, when they're holding hands for the seance.
Mm-hmm.
This one was girl, guy, guy. So like the two women were holding hands, which is in a big thing in our modern day society.
Mm-hmm.
But then the two best friends were holding hands,
Mm-hmm.
and there's obviously no sexual connotation to it at all, other than that they are two dudes that are comfortable enough to be sitting next to each other, holding hands because they've been friends since they were kids.
Yep.
I thought that was cool.
Yes. It was a nice subtle touch.
I did like the opening.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. The opening was definitely one of the stronger pieces of the movie.
I mean, it completely invested you in the movie right away.
Mm-hmm.
I called it Nerd Rampage.
Nice.
And I thought it was a good way to establish the mythology
Uh-huh.
of the Bye-Bye Man. I did like the mythology a lot.
Yes.
The story it's based off of sounds much more complex, of course, and much more interesting. I love Doug Jones. My major complaint from this movie is they showed the Bye-Bye Man way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather...
And his
CGI
little dog.
His CGI, horribly Is this going to be a thing in every single movie this month? Like, if you can't do CGI, don't do it.
Yes.
If you can't afford to do CGI, don't. Because it just detracts from your movie.
And just always go back and look at the theme again. And see how well practical effects, see how well they can do for a movie.
That holds up almost, 40 years later?
Yes.
The Thing, I watched it recently with my roommate because he'd never seen it. And it more than holds up. And that's, Kurt Russell's fucking badass. So
yeah.
that's pretty much right. I did like the mythology of the Bye-Bye-Man. I thought they showed him far too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you'd kept more to the story, like he had the dog in the book for a reason, because he was blind.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and the train's basic because in the book, he was like a homeless person who went to like live in the train yard, and somehow got blind. I forget how. And then the dog is literally his seeing eye dog.
Which then also makes sense for the train.
Exactly.
Now, see, that's the kind of thing, like, all that it would take would be, like, reading a book or something of telling that backstory.
Yeah, and I mean, all that, yeah, exactly. I mean, they were doing such a good job at trying to explain the mythology.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like this one maybe more than you did.
Yes.
I was invested other than the showing of the creature, the monster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking through my notes here.
I remember the music was very blasé.
The music was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. I know we are big on scores and soundtracks being used.
And how well a music can project a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it did nothing for this movie.
Yeah, I'll reference that on a couple movies that we need to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the third act going into like the big scene where Bye-Bye-Man's coming after main guy.
Mm-hmm.
The music completely ruined that scene.
Yes.
I was already kind of on the fence about showing Bye-Bye-Man way too much anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scene in the library where it was like, look down at the book, look up, he's sitting there, look down, look up, he's closer, look down, look up, he's closer. That kind of stuff works with like a Pennywise.
Yeah.
That would have fit perfectly somewhere in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is just unnecessary.
And I think the one scene that like was, to me, the worst scene, and is very brief, was when it was scanning across the hallway in the house, and it showed the wallpaper, and the wallpaper were dogs, and one of the dogs turns its head around and growls.
Yeah.
And
that was unnecessary, too.
Yeah. Kind of rolled my eyes at that one.
Yeah, there's a way to make that work.
Mm-hmm. And that's not it.
That's not it at all. I did like... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I did like... I think my favorite part that really had me... I liked the two main characters. If they cast the girl differently, I probably would like all of the characters. I thought the two main guys, I think, really held this movie together. Mm-hmm. The supporting cast was a really nice who's who.
Mm-hmm. Especially with that cameo.
Yeah.
That was... Who was it again?
Let me look in my notes. Faye Dunaway?
Yes.
And then Carrie Ann Moss was in it?
Yes.
Still looking like Trinity?
Yeah.
By the way. So kudos to her for aging well.
Mm-hmm. That's some damn good genes.
Yeah. I did like the psychological aspect.
Yeah.
Of what this is why I think the Bye-Bye-Man needed to be just exhibited that way and not seen until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
When the psychological like mind fuckery that this entity is doing reaches this crescendo and then needs to reveal itself. Because I liked that they were seeing things. I liked that things weren't there. I liked that, like the train scene, when he was like, "Hey, it's not real." He wasn't. He said something to that extent.
Yeah.
And she was still trying to run and save that family.
Uh-huh.
I liked that. I like it when, there's something going on, but two different points of view.
And also how the Bye-Bye-Man, one of the ways that he plays is by getting you to murder other people.
Yep. And I thought it was just like the scene with Faye Dunaway where, she's on fire and she's saying, "Shoot me."
Uh-huh.
And he didn't. Spoiler. I thought
he broke the spell.
Yeah, and then I thought that was why I was so disappointed in the creature aspect, because it kind of felt like a Jeepers Creepers where you show the creature a little too much for my liking. And it kind of takes away from the the spookiness.
Yes.
Here they had such a good psychological thing going with it being in your head and it messing with you and it twisting reality and it making you react to things that aren't there. I really like that. I like the main characters, but the bad music, the creature monster effect, and then the lack of giving the character itself a definitive backstory other than guy that fucks with you and has CGI dog.
Yeah, and then there's just like the little things, like the little doors in the house.
Yeah, like
and how they would focus on that, but do nothing with it.
Exactly, because in the beginning, the first act, they were really focusing on those tiny doors.
Yeah,
and the coin dropping, and then like you said, they went nowhere with it.
And I mean, we have our theories on the coin dropping, but
that's what I wanted to, without knowing the actual backstory. I wanted you to tell me what you thought some of that stuff meant, because I thought some of your theories were really cool.
The coins, I thought, were a throwback to like Greek mythology, where in order to cross the river Styx, you had to pay the ferryman, which I don't remember his name currently. Charon?
I should know this, and I don't.
I think it's Charon. Charon. But anyways, you had to pay him in gold coin. And that's why oftentimes people would put gold coins on the eyes of corpses. Right. So that's what I thought the gold coins meant. And then even the train, I thought, was just of the passing on to the afterlife. That was his transportation to carry the souls into the afterlife.
Right, and I liked that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but I guess it had a different story.
Yeah.
One of the other things that bugged me was when he was trying to, once he realized that anytime you know what the Bye-Bye Man is, it's going to drive you insane, and he'll be after you, and blah, blah, blah. So he takes that dresser that has the Bye-Bye Man.
And fucking throws it in the woods.
Yes, doesn't set it on fire.
Why?
Throws it in the woods because that's like throwing it away to the abyss, because nobody would ever find it in the woods.
Well, of course not.
And I was just like, that's stupid horror movie logic right there.
Like, I would much rather have had them burn it and then have it reappear.
Have it be perfectly fine, still sitting there. So that way it was still like that psychology aspect where
did you really burn
things were happening that were not actually happening.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I have in my notes, why not just burn the nightstand?
Yeah.
I wrote, and we discussed this briefly and talking to each other about it before this. I think this could have been an amazing Japanese horror movie.
Yes.
Because I think because with Japanese horror, it's such good mythology.
Or even just foreign, period. I mean, you could have had it. The French would have done a fantastic job with this.
I don't know about that. The French horror is so visceral and so bloody, and this is more psychological. So I think Japanese, Korean horror would really have done this one.
J-horror.
A lot of justice, I think.
Yes. And what we need is, like, the J-horror version with Doug Jones.
Yeah. I mean, hire Doug Jones because he's awesome. And just don't show him as much.
Yes.
And that's I liked it more than you did, but even then the bad parts were bad. But the two main characters and the little cameos and the mythology of how the Bye-Bye Man messes with you, I thought were strong enough to make the movie passable. So, yeah. I didn't regret watching it.
Oh, yeah. Neither did I.
I mean, it wasn't The Vault.
Yes.
Which I think we're like...
It wasn't Butterfly Room.
Or ready? Last Shift.
Oh.
Right? One day we're going to do our top 10 least favorite horror movies. Like, I'm not going to go on a rant about that one. We'll save that for another time.
Yes.
So, any other thoughts on Bye-Bye Man?
No, I think that covers it.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth a watch. Check it out. It was strong enough to be viewed once.
Like, it's one that I think it's somebody's favorite movie out there.
Oh, of course.
So
kudos. Yeah, I don't think it's one that needs to be owned necessarily.
Yeah.
But watch for the main characters. Watch for the psychological aspects. That was really cool. Watch for the cameos. And I think that's about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We will see you on the next one. My name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.